What is going on, everybody? This is IBA All Day here, and today we are back with another video for the Kingdom Hearts 2 FM 80% beginner tutorial. So we left off with the end of Beast Castle, and today we are going to be covering Disney Castle and Timeless River. There will be a couple side notes that I'm going to make in Timeless River revolving around the drive recovery, which we will touch on that when we get to that portion of this world. But without further ado, we will get started. So again, rather than quickly trying to do like this type of movement, as soon as you're out of the world, you can just simply hit R1 up quickly to Hollow Bastion, and then trigger on up again to Disney Castle. That will be much faster movement versus just doing this the whole way. It's still pretty quick, like if you don't understand how to do the warps, but if you're really looking to move quickly, doing the double warp right there is pretty cool, and it helps you get to that world much faster. So we're gonna jump on in. So immediately we're gonna be going into Valor, because once again we're using Valor for our movement. We're not doing anything here, just immediately taking a hard left, jumping onto that platform there, and avoiding going over the top of the tree. If you manage to hit level 3 Valor before coming to Disney Castle, then you don't have to really worry about much for extra inputs as far as getting up onto that platform and jumping over the tree. Yeah. So there's nothing here to do with this menu, just exit out. We're going to move forward. So, the way I'm going to try and hopefully show is a strat called Push the Mouse. And basically what this entails is we're going to get Minnie over to the left side to try and push her along that left wall, because it's that left side of this little hallway here is set up accordingly to where we're actually able to push her instead of just doing the RC to walk her along like you normally would. This strat can be extremely fast, however it can be a huge headache starting out, because Minnie likes to do her own little thing. So when she goes to do her faith move, you have to kind of stop pushing her, especially if she is shooting her faith off in a particular direction, because when you're trying to push her and she goes to do that move, you're unfortunately going to push her back out into the hallway. So in the event that you do have trouble like getting her going, if you can't recover as far as getting her put back up against the wall to try and continue pushing her, I just recommend continuing on from wherever you got with her and doing the RC and trying to recover if you can. Otherwise, I would just recommend doing it normal until you have a chance to fully get the concept of trying to push the mouse. So to start, we're going to do the faith, we're going to do the follow. So she will do her thing there, like after she does her little faith move. So we're gonna get a push up against there. See how she moved off to the right there? That's because so she shoots her face off to the right when you're pushing. She will unfortunately shoot off to the right. Now it can be tricky when pushing her. Something I like to do starting out was I would use faith as soon as she wanted to do her little move. And the reason for that is because after you do her face, she stays in position.
Just one moment.
Which allows you to be able to kind of continue pushing her along that side of the hallway. So now we're going to proceed on into the next room. The next room is just really straightforward. It's just getting her from this end of the hall to the throne.
Let's go!
So we immediately do a face here just to kind of push
This
that
way.
one enemy away, and then just
Let's go!
kind
This
of
way!
ride along the red carpet for the most part.
Let's go!
There's not really too much to this. The only thing really is,
This way!
depending on how you are on money, you might have to go out of your way a little bit to make sure you
This
got
way.
enough money by the time you hit Timeless River.
Let's go!
If you don't have at least 640, I
This
believe,
way.
which I will cover for sure when we get there,
Let's go!
I would just recommend killing
This
a couple
way.
extra bulk towers, not only for extra
Let's
XP,
go!
but to guarantee that you got enough
This
money.
way!
Typically, if you have a
Let's
good
go.
summit and everything else, by the time that you get here,
This
you
way!
can typically just take the red carpet and you'll be fine.
This way!
Unfortunately,
Let's
me
go!
came there, so couldn't. I was gonna try and push her, but that's just a pain. There's no menu here. We're proceeding to the save point. And now we're gonna go back to Hollow Bastion, and as you can see, you're able to warp straight to Hollow Bastion. Some more cutscenes. So now, as soon as you spawn into Timeless River, you're going to take an immediate right and go to the Moogle. So, the rings that you're going to buy is called the Tourmaline rings. They cost 320 money a piece, and you need 2 of them. So in total, the minimum that you need to have by the time you hit this world is 640. The more money you have, great. Just make sure you're not trying to go all sorts of out of the way to try and get the money, because that's just going to cost you time, and there's no point in stocking up too much money. Like if you're getting money naturally and things are going really smooth, great, because that'll allow you to buy more ethers when you get to Agrabah, and then for endgame as well. So go ahead and buy the 2 Tourmaline rings. Again, instead of hitting the circle continuously to get out, you can just hit the options button. We're now going to add the Tourmaline rings, because the rings give you a +1 in strength, but the main reason that we get them is for the AP as well, which helps us with the strats moving forward, revolving around most of the abilities that we're going to be using. So here, we're gonna pop Valor.
Give me strength!
You can just make a beeline, repeat, do squares just to kind of move up there.
What's that for?
So this fight is really straightforward. All you have to do is, as soon as you get relatively close enough to Pete, just do square and X for the most part until you do the finisher. So square, one,
What?
and that's all there really is to that fight. As long as you've hit level 14 and you have the 2 Tourmaline rings, it makes it possible to be able to do it that way. Otherwise, you will have to do an extra hit or 2. So now we're on to the windows portion of Timeless River. So the order of the windows, it goes giant window, fire window, construction, and then the house. And the reason for that is these 2 windows here set us up to get an ability called Reaction Boost. And with Reaction Boost in this window, it increases the damage you deal involving RCs. If you don't have the RC boost on, you will not be able to one-shot the hammers involving the RC with this window. The first 3 windows that we do use Chicken Little, because he basically has a magnet effect without using MP. We do not use him on the final window, which I will walk through as we get there, but yeah, for the first 3 windows, the ones that are in this portion right here, we use Chicken Little. So right off the bat, you're going to summon Chicken Little, and he's going to pull these airplane Heartless into you. To start out, just do a couple fires. Do a couple fires, and you should be able to do a finisher. There's kind of multiple ways to do this. It just depends on how you feel comfortable. This fight, again, it can be controlled with Chicken Little. It can also be completely random for how things pan out. But for the most part, you should be able to control the fight involving Chicken Little.
Right.
So, kind of take a step back, because sometimes Chicken Little will pop in behind you, or pop in front of you. And that's really all there is to it. A lot of it is just reacting. There's not really, like, there's set strats for mob fights, but again, it comes down to just kind of reacting to the situation, because not all the time is Chicken Little actually going to follow through and pull abs in. As you saw with that one hammer, he decided to throw a firecracker at him. Or not a firecracker, he threw a ball at him, which stunned him, but it wasn't the pull-in that I was hoping he was going to do. So Chicken Little also has RNG to how he performs. For the most part, if you're not on top of the enemies, he will try and whistle them in, which is basically a magnet effect, and that's what you're kind of hoping for. So again, with this fight here, immediately summoning Chicken Little.
Let's go.
Unfortunately, Chicken didn't do his whistle right away, so there's not really a way to get that good. Oh, okay. That kind of Chicken Little will be helpful for you. But unfortunately, here he's not really helping me out too much. And also, the very first portion with the shadows can be tricky just because Chicken Little sometimes won't whistle them in. He'll instead just throw balls or firecrackers and balls at him, which unfortunately will knock them back and up in the air, into the air as well. So, our next menu before we go into the construction is throwing on RC Boost, which is a reaction boost. Quickest way is you can just quickly hit L1 and up to 3 times. Or, depending on where you're at, because since I'm going from a save file, it's already sitting on guard. So, just quickly hit L1, because typically you'll probably already be up here with your stuff, so you can just quickly do that to get to your reaction boost. And then just exit out and on to the construction site. So here so for this portion early on, we're going to immediately beelining it to the back corner behind Donald and Goofy. And so what I like to do is I kind of do like a claw claw effect, I've got my right index or right thumb on my left stick, and I've got my left thumb on the down pad to be able to get Chicken Little immediately out, because you want to try and get him out as soon as you're in that back corner to pull in all these hammerheads.
Right.
Because you don't want them doing anything.
Back off.
Unfortunately, Chicken Little can be a douchebag here and doing his whistle effect, so just be cautious of that.
This is it.
There's not really much you can do. Again, it's all RNG with Chicken Little, unfortunately. For the most part, you can get a pretty good fight. The cleanest fight that you can get is if you're getting the RC involving the hammers when they're the last wave and you're still in the midst of doing the RC, because it will one-shot them. So for here, we're just trying to quickly get rid of all the ads that are in this first wave. And the reason for that is because once you kill all these guys, there's going to be a bunch of the small little speed trap guys that are going to spawn in, which is the final wave. At which point you're going to cast Trinity and you're going to use Major Drive. And instead of hitting the enemies like you normally would to get extra rounds of damage, all you're going to do is you're going to aim that sucker at the wall and let the Major Drive happen, and then do the finisher. So, as you can see, as these guys are spawning in, as soon as you hear them starting to spawn in, immediately you get like somewhat close to a wall, aim your Major Drive against the wall, and just let it rip. At which point, just do the finisher, and you'll pretty much insta-kill. Because otherwise, if you hit them a bunch of times, the Trinity will slowly kill them. So now, once again, we're going to be going into Valor form. So, something that is to be noted big time is once you pop your Valor,
Give me strength.
and usually because of how fast you're popping it, you're not able to get into the menu right away. So, once you popped your Valor, you're going to pop your Drive Recovery. And if you would like, you can pop your AP boosts now. Not a big deal if you don't, because you're not doing anything with them until Agrabah. But an important thing that I would like to note, if you've already used your Drive Recovery after Thresholder back in Beast Castle, you will obviously not have Drive Recovery for the end of Timeless River. So the reason that we want to have the Drive Recovery, if at all possible, is it makes the final fight for Timeless River extremely fast. Because we'll be able to have, not only will we be able to have Valor for the start of the fight, the final fight, but we will also be able to go into Valor once again during the fight. If you do not have a Drive Recovery, the one thing I recommend is throwing on Counter Guard, because when Pete retaliates in the final fight, you're able to clank off of him and perform Counter Guard, which breaks his retaliation and allows you to continue attacking. That will speed up the fight quite a bit in itself, and help save a bunch of time instead of having to back off, waiting for him to attack and do everything else. But again, you're going to want to try to have that Drive Recovery if at all possible. But we're going to proceed on forward. So normally you are able, if you're lucky enough, you're able to hit level 3 Valor before you get to boat fight, which is extremely good because it allows you to carry over a decent amount of drive going into Final Pete. If you don't hit level 3 until boat fight, it's not a big deal. That just means you're going to be going into Valor once again a lot sooner.
You mugs couldn't follow me if you wanted to. Later, loser.
So the reason that we go into Valor is with this fight here, between doing the damage to him with these items that he's throwing at us and the damage on the hook, it's increased by the strength of being in Valor form. If you were in base form, Sora, for both this and on the hook, you'd be doing less damage. And it only takes these 3 here to finish it. After which, running the 47 AP route during the fight, because you have time to grab this chest, you go grab the AP boost chest at the very back there, then proceed to the hook, and continue to do a bunch. I did that wrong. I'm talking too much.
This is it.
It'll keep Valor though. Onto the hook. You want to do at least 2 finishers and then just keep doing 1-2 typically, because you're wanting to wait for that RC to pop up so you don't get thrown off like I did there. Again, I will have cleaner videos of every encounter in a separate playlist for those that would like to check those out to get a better sense of the fights. So you end up dropping out of Valor before you get to Final Pete. It's not a big deal. Just quickly pop Valor before you go into the fight, proceed forward.
What's that for?
And with this fight, it's basically square to win for the most part. Quite literally, all you gotta do is square, and basically you'll do enough damage to push him into the next phase. And the reason you're doing that is it allows his RV to stay extremely low to the point that he doesn't really retaliate much during this fight. Square. And just do, if you don't push him to the next phase, just quickly do another hit. You just keep doing that throughout the whole fight. Unfortunately, this fourth part here, he does have a chance to do something really stupid, which is going to cost me my Valor. Which is unfortunate. Yeah, that was very unfortunate. So with this last part, kind of do a couple blizzards, get close enough, and then just RCs, which I was too close to the rope, I think. But yeah, after he does his little slam, it's just RCs until you kill him. I wasn't expecting him to retaliate the way that he did there. I kind of did something a little funky there on that third window, but otherwise, I mean, that's the concept of the fight, to doing it quickly. So that has been the end of Disney Castle here. We'll be back in another video with everyone's favorite, Port Royal. Thank you guys all for watching, and hope this helps with any tips and tricks. Again, I will have videos in a separate playlist covering every encounter and basically just doing the encounters without any commentary. These are just to kind of help get a better sense of how to approach these fights for starting out. So I'll catch you guys all next time.